Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing great and I'm doing great as well. So for today's video, I'm just so excited to try it. As the name says, it's going to be my full face makeup using a sponge, and I'm going to be trying it using my favorite e.l.f. Cosmetics Camo sponge, and I just have the beauty blenders in hand as well, just in case if I need an additional sponge. But I'm going to try and use maximum one sponge so that it makes sense to the video, if you know what I mean. And here and there I'm going to be using my fingers because I'm just like so skeptical like using one sponge for the entire look. So yeah, let's just get going guys. As always, the first thing is my eyeshadows, and I'm going to be using the favorite e.l.f. Cosmetics Hydrating Camo Concealer, if that's the right name, to prep my eyelids, and then set it with the Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. And I'm going to use my beauty blender for doing my eyeshadows. I don't know, I'm like so worried like to see like how my eyeshadows are going to turn out just by using the sponge. So I don't want to use the e.l.f. sponge for this because I don't want it to just soak up all the powders at this moment, because I want to do my foundation and my complexion products with that. So I'm going to use the beauty blender for my eyeshadows. Just wish me luck guys that my eyeshadows do turn out well. Oh, not so bad guys, it's seriously working well. I don't know whether you guys can see it through the camera. Can you guys see it through the lens? I don't know, but I'm able to look into the screen. Like, can you guys just see the pigment it's given me? I'm just not going to do anything dramatic with my eyeshadows. Like, I don't want to like make it like super dramatic and all. I just want to do a basic thing. Yeah, I hope I like the way it turned out guys. I'm just going to leave it at this. I'm just like touching up with my fingers like ever so slightly. Can you guys just see that smokiness it has given to my eyes? It's just very good guys. I don't want it to be too dramatic or something, so I'm just going to stop it at this point, and I'm just going to go ahead with my next products. Yeah, I did my lashes off the camera. I used 2 different mascaras for that. I would leave the details in the description box below. And the next thing I'm going to do is my primer, and my favorite drugstore primer recently is the Neutrogena Radiant Primer Serum. It's the peptides range. It looks like this up in a bronzy shade kind of thing, and it just gives that illuminating healthy skin kind of glow. So I'm just going to drop a few drops. And I'm just going to use my fingers, I guess that's the best way these things work out. So the very next step is I'm going to be using my corrector. I mean, this is like a 2 shades darker concealer. So instead of using an orange corrector, I wanted to use this because I was like so skeptical to use a red corrector in my sponge, if you know what I mean. So I preferred using a darker shade concealer. Can you guys just notice the difference the moment I started blending in the darker shade concealer? It just counteracted all my hyperpigmentation. It just gave me an even skin tone, if you know what I mean. And the next step is going to be my foundation. It's one of my favorite. That's the Estee Lauder Double Stay in Place foundation. And this sponge, I guess I've said you like few times before also, like this sponge does soak up a little bit of product, but it does not leave you any kind of like those pounce marks on your skin. It just gives you that airbrushed flawless finish look, if you know what I mean. Like, can you guys see like how it's like helping me blend my foundation? And it is always advised to use a damp sponge, because I have seen many people using a dry sponge. It may be because of their personal experiences or their personal uses, but I would still recommend using a damp sponge, because that way the products does not get soaked up by the sponge. So I just hope that you guys can see like how a flawless base can be achieved using a sponge, because I just personally love using sponges for my complexion products, because it just gives me a smooth finish, because I do have textured skin, I do have creases underneath my eyes. Yeah, even upon doing all these steps, my creases and my texture is still gonna show up when people see me with naked eyes, but that's totally fine, guys. So I'm doing to the extent that I can achieve with the power of makeup, if you know what I mean. So the very next step is I'm gonna go ahead and highlight all the places using my favorite e.l.f. hydrating camo concealer that I used for my eyeshadow base. So I just never draw a triangle. If you guys have seen me, like, it just unnecessarily adds a lot of products like onto your cheek. So instead I just do this, which just helps in lifting my eyes and as well as correcting my eyeshadows, if you know what I mean. So this is what I usually do, like if my eyeshadow is somewhere out on the way. And recently I've been doing is that, like, doing it in the hollow of my cheek, so that when I do my contour it just looks more lifted. So can you guys just see like how bright my under eyes, my center of the face, and just slightly on the side? Like, can you see, like, when I'm just smiling, you can see that dip going on, right? So that's what I have been aiming to create in the recent days. The very next step is my favorite, that's the cream contour, and I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Tantour, and I'm just going to like slide on with my fingers just to create that line and then blend it with my sponge. I'm using the same sponge, guys. Trust me, you can just see like how it's soaked up with the product. And the reason why I chose Huda Beauty Tantour is that it's like, I guess it's the creamiest contour or the bronzer that I've ever found or come across. Like, can you guys just see like how my forehead and my right side contour is like blending out? Can you just see that smoothness it has given to me, like a tiniest amount of shadow, and this has that harsh line. I'm just like so happy. So far so good. The sponge has worked amazingly. I'm like so happy with the contour, like it's just looking so seamless and that right amount of shadow going on in my face. And for cream blush, I'm using my none other than the favorite e.l.f. Cosmetics Monochromatic Multistick, and I'm using in the shade Bronze to Cherry. I'm going to be using at the high points slightly, so that like the moment when I start blending it, you can just pull down the product slightly. And I just like to make a small C here, like take it till my eyebrows ever so slightly, so that like when I smile, it doesn't look like only my cheek has the blush or the color, so it looks more natural that way for me. And the next thing is going to be my highlighter, and I'm using a cream highlighter. It's from Benefit. It's like a highlighter stick. Can you guys just see that soft highlight going on through my high points? So yeah, the sponge has done a pretty much good job, because I just used my beauty blender only for my eyeshadow, because I don't want this to soak up any powders or colors before I do my complexion products. So yeah, the sponge is amazing, guys. And yeah, I'm gonna do my eyebrows off the camera and be back. So yeah, I just did my eyebrows and I just set my under eyes with a translucent powder, and I used my same beauty blender for under eyes alone, and I just dusted off the excess powder. And now I'm just going to use my little finger to do my lower lash line, because I don't think so I can get my sponge over there, and it just looks so bad for me, like without doing any lower lash line. So I just wanted to add a little bit of color. So I'm going to use the same shade. And the very next step is I'm going to go ahead and do my bronzer. I don't know how I'm going to do, but fingers crossed, guys. I'm going to do my bronzer. I'm going to use my Trusted Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Light. And I'm going to like do my bronzer. Oh, it's amazing, guys. Can you guys just see, like, oh my goodness, like, I don't know whether you guys can capture it through the camera, but it's just amazing, guys. Look at that pigment, it just picked up. Can Can you guys see the difference? Like, this is more bronzed. Oh my god, it has done an amazing job, guys. I never ever expected this, like with a powder bronzer, and it just did an amazing job by adding that warmth and that benefit stick. Is just giving me the right amount of glow, like a sun-kissed look. I'm going to contour my nose as well. Not bad, guys. I guess I was able to manage it. But I just love the bronzer on my cheeks because it did an amazing job. And I'm going to use my Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso, and I guess it's been ages since I used this. That is a healthy pink, guys. Like, look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me just go ahead and add a little more color to my blush because I feel like, yeah, it's just doing an amazing job. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some more color to my blush. Yeah, now that's the amount of blush I would like. Like, it's looking so flattering on my face right now. I hope you guys can see it through the camera as well. And the last thing is I'm going to do my lips, and lips, I don't know, I don't think so that I can do it with my sponge, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pick one shade and just do my lips off the camera and be back. And yeah, so I did my lips, and one more thing that I wanted to do is add some more highlighter to my face. I know that it's already like blinging all the way, but still I wanted to give a try to the powder highlighter as well, like how I did my blush and my bronzer. So I'm going to be using my Laura Mercier, it's the face illuminator powder, and it's not an actual highlighter, it's like just an illuminator. Like, it just gives you a very healthy glow. So I just use this basically like whenever I just don't want an highlighter actually, but just that glow from my skin. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and dip this into my blender and try it. I don't know, like, is it going to turn so crazy or is it going to look like so healthy? Oh, that's doing an amazing job, guys. Can you just see, like, so yeah, this is the finished look, like using the sponge, and I'm amazed like how the sponge has worked on my skin. It has given me a smooth and flawless finish, like irrespective of my creases or my texture. I would love to give you a zoom in onto my skin, like how actually my skin is looking at the moment. Like, you guys can see my lines, that's totally fine, and I'm like totally happy. But look at that airbrushed finish, guys. Like, it's just like super smooth, and all my blush, my highlighter, my bronzer, look at that, guys. So that's like an amazing thing that I would love always, like as a person, like when doing makeup, and I hope like everybody will love that, obviously. So yeah, so I just give a thumbs up, like using the sponge for your entire face. Like, if you are in a hurry and if you just forgot your brushes, you just have one sponge, yes guys, you guys can just do it with one sponge. And I'm so happy that I gave this method an attempt, and I'm like so happy, and I'm like, I feel like I'm so successful in creating a flawless look with the sponge. So I hope you enjoyed this video as well. So if you want any of these type of videos for me to do, so please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. Bye.